the symbol.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Madad Dastur. The dragon on the cane of the Prophet, he has so many canes, by the way, and there's so many Sahabis who have canes also. Swords, on the swords of the Holy Prophet, some of them on the hilt, but the most famous one that is open, that we can see, that is on the sword, it is actually on the blade. Okay? There's the hilt, yes, there is a dragon over there, but there is also on the blade where they have a dragon and a phoenix. Okay, that is also decorated to put there. Islam, nothing is decoration for decoration's sake. First, we have to know. In Islam, if it is decoration only purely for decoration, it becomes almost like an idol. That you're just putting there and you're just looking at it. It doesn't have any purpose. Does an idol have any purpose? No, it doesn't, correct? In Islam, there are no statues. We don't carve statues, and we don't put statues. Because the statue does not have any purpose, isn't it? Now, you may have a cane, and the cane can have, say, for example, I'm not bringing cane the Shaykh Abdulkerim has. Alhamdulillah, we have his canes. The eagle, for example. And now, that is carved as a handle. Is it an eagle? No. It is a handle. It is a walking stick. It has a purpose. It has a use. Now, so that means that the decoration is there to help the main use of what that object is. It's not an object that is purely decorative and is put there and people are just looking and admiring. It is not. So, the carvings that is in Islam, okay, that you may use, number one, we have to know, in traditional Islam, 1300 years, Islam has been ruled tightly. The Muslims are ruled tightly. It is not like today, where people can make own interpretations, they can make their own fatwas, they can make their own rulings on anything that they want, from anything and everything. It's never been like that. For 1300 years, always you had the khalifah, the muftus, the shaykhul islams, the scholars, and the power of Islam ruling with the sword. And with that sword, if you don't obey, it's finished. No one has a head and to use it as they like. So whatever that is coming out, especially from Ahl Sunnah wa Jama'ah way, from the Sunni way, anything that comes out that you are seeing that they are using, it is not arbitrary. It is not according to someone who just wants to make up his own interpretation. And a lot of the times when we see, for example, drawings and paintings, miniatures, carvings of different things that's happening, it is not so much the common people that are doing it. You're seeing it, sultans, they are doing it. Wazirs, pashas, the higher level people, that they have the authority of this dunya, and they have the authority given by Holy Prophet ﷺ, and those ones, the holy people that are around them, either the scholars or the saints that are around them, to give them permission to use that. And what they are using also is very little. And it's very limited. And they're using it very carefully. They're not using it anywhere that they want, anytime that they want. There were some kingdoms, some dynasties that were doing that. We're not going to touch the Shia. They do so many weird things anyway. But there are a couple that they are doing also in Granada, in Andalusia. And that fell. That kingdom fell. Okay? So, we're seeing now that those artistic forms, for example, carving, that is used by the old sultans, all the way from the Middle East, all the way to the Far East, that they are using, it is very limited and it is used for a specific purpose. What is the reason? What is the meaning behind it? There's a lot. It's not for us to speak about those secrets here. What the eagle, its meaning, what the dragons, they symbolize. It just doesn't symbolize. There is something there. Now we're moving on to different knowledges that is not fitting for everyone to know also. And especially in these times, bringing a lot of fitna. And so, the carvings that are used, that is as a decoration. Number one, it is not a decoration that is purely for decoration's sake. There is a purpose. Number two, there is a deeper meaning to that. And it is given permission by the sultans and by the alims and by the ulamas. When we look, for example, at paintings and miniatures, we find certain miniatures and certain paintings, for example, and they're depicting Holy Prophet, isn't it? The Siyar al-Nabi is showing different times and different experiences, history of the Prophet, and it's showing his painting. But everything is limited. Number one, those pictures, those books, those miniatures, it is not for public consumption. They don't put it on Facebook, okay? To show it to everyone, to press button like or unlike. And nobody can give comment. Those are kept very carefully. Number two, there are very strict regulations on what can be put and what cannot be put, what can be painted and what cannot be painted. For instance, although they painted the Holy Prophet ﷺ, they never show his face. And they always put a veil over his face. And if it is showing that it is a holy person or a prophet, then they have flames coming out to show the nur, okay, around that. And these miniatures, they're not for decoration. They're to teach. They are to teach so that people can understand. So now, what do we get? We get everything that is debased. We get everything coming down to the lowest level. So, that is also one of the things that Shaykh Effendi is saying in our way. It is important for us to have pictures of our shaykhs. We don't worship those pictures. We don't make sajda to those pictures. Okay, there are other Muslims who make sajda to the pictures of their rulers. And there are scholars who give fatwa in those countries to say it is okay. These are Sunni scholars, by the way. It is okay to make sajda to the picture of our ruler. Now, everything is gone to extreme now. Because why? There is no khalifah. If the khalifah is ruling, you think it's going to be like this? It's never going to be like this. So everything is now contained and is careful. And with that, for that reason, then there are other, the real use, the real purpose of those carvings, of those things, for different secrets, different powers, it will become manifest. It will be there. But like I said, this is not for everyone, and is not giving everyone permission also to put everything that they want into their house. It's not to say that now I want to carve my whole house to look like snakes and dragons. No, it doesn't mean that. Okay? It has to be, you have permission, and you have to have a reason for it. You have to have authority. To have knowledge is one thing. To have permission is another. You may have knowledge, but you don't have permission, you cannot spread that knowledge. You have permission, but you don't have knowledge. What are you going to do now? If you have permission and you have knowledge, and you speak, but you don't have authority, it's not going to be too good either. So these three things we have to have, inshallah. And the time of our sultans and our kings, our maliks, and our khalifas, there is a permission, there is a knowledge, and there is an authority. Now, there is no permission, there is no authority, and definitely there is no knowledge. That's why everything is jumbled up and people swing to extremes. On the one hand, they can watch TV 24 hours. On the other hand, they say you cannot have pictures. On one hand, they can go and they can look at everything. On the other hand, they say, oh, we cannot have any picture of holy people around. So it's out of whack. We have to balance it, inshallah. May Allah send us a sultan soon to keep this balance. We cannot balance it by ourselves. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.